Hi, my name is Charisma Baxter, and I am in Theater 251, and this is my video response for Throne of Blood. Jumping into prompt number 1, my initial response was that it was very different, but I thought it was well done, and I can see why it's so famous and respected and widely analyzed. Prior to being assigned this assignment, I had never read the story of Macbeth, so before I started watching the movie, I decided to read a little summary on Macbeth. What I noticed from this film was that it did a very, very good job at blending together the Western and Japanese traditions. It kept the message the same, which I thought was really great. The message was basically compromising your morals for greed and power will never work out, or in simpler terms, karma will always find you and win. Some things that the director did that I really liked throughout the film was I like the fog because I think it added a lot to the feeling and the mood and the ghost-like feeling of the whole film. But something I didn't like was that the subtitles. The subtitles really bothered me, and I found myself halfway through the video just not reading them, but I think it was okay because I still kind of understood what was going on just from the actors alone. Jumping into prompt number 2, the first thing I want to address and draw a connection between traditional No and the film is Asahi, the Wazishu's wife. She was my favorite part of this whole film. Although it was evident she didn't have a mask on, she did a very good job at keeping her expressions contained and very porcelain and stiff-like. I really liked this because this was traditional No Japanese, and I think it really added to her character overall because her character, Lady Macbeth, originally is a very dark, ruthless, just stone-cold person. I also think it added because she had facial paint, and I noticed from our what was posted on Blackboard, I looked at the traditional masks of the males and the females, and her mask, the female mask, has the eyebrows kind of set right here, and I noticed they really accented that with the makeup along with the white face. I think the white face added and made it very ghost-like and kind of just resembled that she, and because she was, even before she was a ghost, and I think this added because she didn't really possess a lot of human qualities like empathy or remorse or anything, and so I think that just kind of added to the overall thing. As we learned in the power of the Onagata, traditionally men play female roles, so it's very interesting that they gave such a huge vital role to a female. I also thought that she was a Tashur character. A Tashur character is a shadowy companion to the Shite character. The Shite character would obviously be Washizu, and I thought it was interesting that they described the Tashur characters as shadowy because she had a very, like I mentioned earlier, pale face, and I think it just showed that she was really shady and dark. She also wore a kararani, which is an exquisite women's kimono. It had a lot of detail, and I noticed for most of the scenes she had a rockade over it, which is kind of just another layer. My next connection that I want to draw to the traditional No was the constant presence of the drum and flute. The drums and flute were extremely noticeable in the beginning opening credits that were very lengthy, but my favorite parts of the drums and flute throughout this film was that it gave off it added to the spooky vibe. I think that the drums did this kind of like when the horses were, there was a lot of parts where the drums did this actually, but the more noticeable part for me was I found myself, when I was hearing the flute, sometimes it was so high-pitched that it kind of sounded like screams to me, which was just really creepy. I thought the whole movie was kind of scary overall. The drums would always build before important scenes. This really stuck out to me when Asahi was trying to convince her husband Washizu to kill the king. I also thought throughout the whole entire movie as a whole, the flute and drums did a great job at narrating and assisting in the moods, the feelings, and the overall ambiance of the film. Lastly, as we know, there are 5 different types of no, and this was obviously the one that dealt with spirits and demons. Spirits and demons were present throughout the entire film. I don't feel like I need to go into that much detail on this one just because it was so present. It was present in the very, very beginning with the ghost spinning the wheel, the one that told the prophecies, and also when the ghost of Miki, which is Washizu's best friend, was when he kept seeing the ghost of Miki. Jumping into the third prompt, I think that Kurosawa chose this partially because the storyline already had so much to do with ghosts, that he just thought it would really just it was just a perfect fit, but also because he is a Japanese man, and so he obviously was probably going to stick with one of the Japanese types of film and theater, and the Bunraku would have just never worked because there were way too many characters, and it just wouldn't connect with the audience as well. The no techniques that I thought were the strongest was, like I mentioned before, the drums and flute, and also just the wife, Azishu. Just her stone-like traditional facial expressions added so much to her character, and just bringing the traditional no alive. That her husband Washizu, and along with every other character, didn't stick with that Japanese just plain unidentifiable expressions, because typically they're supposed to have masks. And because they didn't stick with that, it kind of took away from the film for me, because I went into this knowing a lot about traditional Japanese film, and it kind of just really made it sad for me. But it was also a good contributor with the Western meeting the Japanese, because not all the characters stuck to everything. I think it added so much also because, like I said, Lady Macbeth's character is supposed to be ruthless, and I think that really exemplified her character. Overall, the movie was not my favorite, but I did enjoy it a lot more than I thought I would. 15 minutes into it, I thought it would never end, but it was okay, and yeah, thanks for watching.